Hello everyone. Today's video is about how to change the battery, or at least take out the battery, which is the tricky part, on a 2012 to 2015 based MacBook Pro. And this is the 15-inch model, which is has the model name A1398. And I just bought this as a used model, and the guy that sold it to me said that the battery charges, it really is only able to last around 20 minutes at best, and after that it dies unless it's plugged in. So I knew off the bat that the battery needed to be replaced right away, and I went on eBay and I bought the A1417 model, I believe it is, for about $100. So the top cost of the laptop was around $200 because since it's a used old MacBook Pro model by this time, and then the cost of the battery was another $100, and this is Canadian dollars instead of U.S. dollars. So it came up to around 300 Canadian, and the battery itself is coming in the mail in a few days, and I'm just kind of prepping this by showing you how to remove the battery. First by removing the screws on the back of the unit, and then opening it up and then showing you how to remove the battery from the inside. So the first step is to power off the laptop, and it's been recommended that you drain the battery fully as much as possible just to remove any risk that the battery still has charge in it. That's basically what they say. So if you just kind of drain the laptop, let it die completely so it doesn't power up anymore, then you know the battery's drained. And then you would power it off, and as it's not connected to anything right now. And then you want to close the unit and then flip it over. And I've already gone ahead and removed all the screws, but I'm going to show you what the screws look like and which tools I used to actually which screw bit I used to remove it. So the batteries, why am I saying batteries? Sorry, the screws are these little small silver looking screws, and I can kind of zoom in a bit to show you. The screw, it sort of has this, I don't know if you can see it there. Sort of has this kind of 5-star shaped looking screw bit that's necessary. It's kind of like a special bit. You can't see it too well there. Maybe if I put this on top like that. Just 1 second here. Maybe you can see it like that. It's not casting a shadow. Here you can kind of see the focus of the camera doesn't really show it that well. So you need this kind of screw bit, which is, again, you can't see it that well, can you? You can kind of see it there. See how it's kind of star shaped, and in fact it has 5 it's kind of a 5-star very small screw bit. It happens, I found out that it happens to come with this set that I already have with a lot of different types. So the bit that I took is the 1.2, I guess it's maybe 1.2 millimeters, that means. So 1.2 millimeters with the 5-star bit. And that was the one that matched all the screws on the exterior that are able to be taken out. So if you kind of go around, just a sec here, make sure I didn't lose that screw. Okay, I had a screw there and a screw there. So if you go around, you'll see that there's 4 spots along the top, and you'll use this screw bit to undo them, or you'll have to find something similar in a different kit. And there's one here, and there's one here, and then there's one here, and there's one here, and there's one here, and there's one here. So there's about 10 of those in total that you'll need to remove. And then once you remove them, as I've already done, which I'm not going to show here because I've just used the screwdriver to remove all of them, this thing pops off, and then you'll be able to see the board. And then the next video, in the next clip, subsequently, I'm going to show you how to remove the battery. Okay, I'm replacing the battery on the 15-inch MacBook Pro, and I just removed 6 screws with a 6-star screwdriver. You can't really see it, but it's in my kit, and it's close to the other 6-star screwdrivers, but they're very small. You can just barely see them. So I found the one that fits these black little screws, and as the guy on the video said, they are different lengths. So the ones clear and close to the speaker, here and here, are the longest ones. You can kind of see them in the bag a little bit. They're a little bit longer than the others. And then the ones next to those in length are the ones at the corners, so here and here, and those are medium length, not quite as long, so you can actually see the one that's the longest with the smaller one. And then there's one even smaller, and that's close to where you lift up the connector. So here is the connector, and you just basically lift up the tape. I just kind of took that tape and threw it off to the side because we're going to be putting in a new battery soon. And there's 2 more spots where there's very short screws. You can see there as one of them, and the other one is there. So those are the 2 shorter of the 6 screws. And you just need to know that for when you put the screws back in with the new battery. So the next thing I'm going to do is remove this lid. Sorry, I removed the lid, but I meant that I'm going to remove this connector so that I can start prying out the battery. There's like glue underneath all of this. So according to videos and how-tos on the internet, you basically need to remove the connector, and then you can start prying up the screws. That's not the screws. The glue under the battery. So once I figure out how that is going to work, I will pull this battery up by the connector. So the connector needs to come off. See if I can do it here. I don't know if I can do it while I'm holding the camera. Difficult here. So I'm going to put the camera here. So I'll put the camera here. Actually, I need to put this thing here. That. See a little corner here that I might be able to lift up. Okay. So I'll show you the trick I just found out. There's a little corner at the edge there where, the guy on the video said as well, you can just stick your fingernail under that, which starts to lift it up. And now it's giving more, and that's where the connector should be pulled up. I use my thumbs nail to lift up the other one. It's almost up. There we go. Now the connector is pulled up, and we can pull that up and out. And later when we put in the new battery, then we'll be replacing the whole thing. All right, so the next part, as far as I know, involves pulling up the, this is where I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver to try to pull up the battery, and so far I'm not sure if that's a good idea. The one thing that the guy did say is to avoid puncturing the battery. If you puncture it, it could potentially start a fire or some sort of explosions. So you need to be very careful, even while using the flathead screwdriver, to not puncture it. I'm going to be very careful about doing that to try to avoid creating some sort of safety hazard. Okay, so once I start prying it up, I'll take another sort of capture to see how things are. So right now we have the connector up, and we have the screws taken out, and the rest is just a matter of removing the glue that's underneath. And my battery hasn't come in yet today. It's still going to come into the mail over the next couple of days. So we'll see when I get my battery how easy it is to install. And the battery I have, the model, is actually going to be the same as the one that's here for this MacBook Pro. And the model is A1398. I think this is an A1398 MacBook Pro, which is around 2012 to 2015 model. Okay. Okay, so this is the next part, and in the last part I mentioned we have to start peeling up the batteries, the batteries are attached to the board with just basically glue. So I was careful to use a flathead screwdriver and use it to prop up the battery without puncturing the battery, which was a little bit risky, but the battery was sturdy enough to withstand the force. And I managed to get the right side up as well as the left side. And you can sort of either lift up the speaker as a little trick to like be able to slide the screwdriver deep enough to prop up the edge of it initially, and then use the screwdriver to give away the first compartment of this and prop it up. And then once you get the first compartment done, then you do the next one, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna hopefully be done with propping up the last two, which are still locked in place. And then we'll see if I can then remove the battery and then tidy up the glue and all that's underneath. Okay, so as you can see right now, I've managed to prop up all of the let's call them the fingers of the battery piece. And the tricky part with this at the center is just that it's not really connected to the aluminum exterior. It's glued down to this, let's just call it a trackpad shield. And if you check other videos on YouTube that have the instructions, they say it's basically just protecting some circuitry underneath that's glued down that's supporting the trackpad that's on the front. So I managed to peel up the battery without fully damaging that shield. It was a little bit tricky. There's a little bit of scratch and wear and tear on it. But the key thing also that someone said to avoid is to avoid putting the screwdriver or the tool into that little ribbon. So I avoided doing that, and it's still in good shape. So I'm going to try to pull the battery out now, and hopefully it's easy enough. And then we'll see what it looks like underneath. Okay. Oops. So they said to just prop that thing up, prop all the pieces up, and just pull the battery out. And there you can see, now the battery is fully out. And yes, the shield for the trackpad is still there. It might have been pulled up a little bit more than I would like, but let's see what it looks like underneath. Let's just lifting it, and you can actually lift it up slightly just to see what's underneath. Yeah, it's just a thing. Might have had some glue removed from it, but it looks like it's okay. Later, once we press the battery back down on it, I think this should go back to normal. So let's see what this looks like. There's a whole bunch of stuff that will need to be cleaned up. Hopefully that little gap that's there can press down. It's not a big deal. See, it kind of props up. And this side is more or less okay. And so yeah, when the new battery comes, it should be much easier to install because I won't have to remove the existing one. And this thing should have new life pumped into it. So, which is something to look forward to. So, yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're at the final step, and you can see that I've managed to successfully remove all of the glue that was stuck to the aluminum and the trackpad shield. And you can see I just basically used a couple simple tools and anti-adhesives. So one of your first ones that worked quite well is rubbing alcohol, and the other one is Tito's handmade vodka. So you can use either rubbing alcohol or a vodka as a solvent. And the other thing that I think helped quite a bit was after applying the rubbing alcohol on the vodka, was just add a little bit of toothpaste, which helped break down the glue a little bit more as well. And I applied that not excessively, but just enough to kind of loosen up the glue, and just kind of let it sit for a couple minutes, around 5 to 10 minutes. So kind of spread it out evenly. You can see I used like a Q-tip that was used to kind of absorb the alcohol, and then I use it to apply the toothpaste. So then it took a lot of hard work, but then I just basically used this scraping tool to scrape everything up, and then it started going much easier. So this is pretty much at the end result that you can see, where I cleaned up all of the toothpaste, the alcohol, and the excess glue that was left over. So there's pretty much no more glue, and this is ready to go for the new battery replacement. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and try it yourself. Let me know if you have any questions. You can reach out to me, and I can give you some pointers. Thank you.